The best aim of the project is to bring the community together in this beautiful place, close to nature, and let them educate themselves about all the wonders of Barnwood and all the benefits of being so close to what Mother Nature gave us. The desired outcome is that we have so many volunteers willing to donate their time to Barnwood and its activities.
I've lived in the area a long time, so I walk past here most days. I saw Leo in the garden one day and I asked if I could help. During lockdown, that's how it happened, actually.
I'm enjoying very much being a guardian in a way, watering plants, taking care of the trees and fruit bushes that have been planted.
I guess for the wildlife it should be really nice, and it's just nice to see a tiny bit of green because we've just got so many buildings where we are.
On a more practical side, we just planted loads of soft fruit bushes. We have planted some fruit trees as well.
I think that's a very lovely hole. Can we have some expert advice on the... do we think that's the right size hole?
That is the right size hole. We're planting
and what
an apple tail, an Egremont russet.
This is an Egremont russet apple tree,
Yes. And
which is our second tree going in.
We're going to put that in the middle. We want to cover it with soil up till here, and then we're going to mulch at the bottom, and it has to be sort of a good sort of 50 mil below the grafting, because just like that came from the nursery. So there we go.
So what we need to do is one of you to come over here and agree whether it's in the right plane, so that it's facing and looking really pretty.
I think it's perfect.
I personally think that Egremont russets are really, really tasty. And do you find it interesting that there are so many varieties of fruit bushes and trees?
I like all the little trees that they planted and the flowers. Yeah,
Yes.
but the trees are great. Yeah, really nice.
Really, this is so exciting because our community members just can come to Barnwood, collect the fruit, or perhaps we can even go a step further and cook something together here at Barnwood. Nice, jam or an apple pie over our plant, fire pit.
It's good for the kids, for them to recognise some of the flowers, some of the wildflowers as well, and the different trees, and respect them.
The young people to learn how to plant and be appreciative of what's around them and how the food they're eating gets onto their plate.
It would be nice to get involved with the old people as well, older people,
Older.
to bring them over with the kids, because I think that works really well.
The idea is very much to keep it as wild as possible. We don't really want a manicured lawn or row of flowers because we're much more interested in attracting wildlife.
And we are in the middle of it all, so I feel we are in a position to play an amazing role, inspiring role in getting the community together.
And this is a particularly appropriate one to the setting we're in here and the value that we should all place on nature. It's called Birdsong. He doesn't know the world at all who stays in his nest and doesn't go out. He doesn't know what birds know best, nor what I want to sing about, that the world is full of loveliness. When dewdrops sparkle on the grass and earth's aflood with morning light, a blackbird sings upon the bush to greet the dawning after night. Then I know how fine it is to live. Hey, try to open your heart to beauty. Go to the woods someday and weave a wreath of memory there. Then, if the tears obscure your way, you'll know how wonderful it is to be alive.
My name is Asma and I'm from the SPWA. We came here 1 year ago with our kids, our members as well. We participated and it's just lovely to see this, and we're proud to be members of the local neighborhoods, and also it's always important every year that we should do this kind of a Holocaust memorial, because we have younger children growing up. So next year there'll be more kids growing up. So is it something that should be reminded each other's what other people have gone through for the past. History should never be stopped, and history shouldn't end it at all. So it's important, and thank you all for those who have taken part today as well. Thank you.
If there's one thing that we can learn from the past, it's of course not to replicate the same mistakes, to say never again. And though we're not just celebrating, memorializing the Holocaust, we're also keeping in our hearts all the tragedies and all the genocides that have happened since then. From Rwanda to Cambodia and Srebrenica, to things that are happening right now. Perhaps by coming together, and we're going to light a few candles, we can shed a little bit of light, even though there's so much darkness out there. And because we have us together sharing this light, the good thing about a candlelight is that you can take the candle and you can share with someone else, and they have the candle, and you keep your light as well. So may we always be able to have our candle of hope and to share with others and give them hope as well. So
We've had a big launch last August when the barn was actually open. We had a bit of music playing from different people. So it has begun to be educational, the Barnwood enterprise, and I look forward to it flourishing, very much so, in the next few years.
There are so many opportunities, and we are really excited about them.
And just the whole thing about Barnwood is promoting life and ecology.
How I first found out about the Rainbow Project Centre was through a friend of mine, and she told me about it, and then she showed me where it was, and once I knew where it was kind of great then, and so I could just go along and I could find it myself. And the first few times I went, obviously I was a little bit nervous to start because I hadn't met anybody there before, but it was really good. So once she'd shown me where it was just something that I love to do every week then, and couldn't wait to go the next week.
They're coming to the space and they're enjoying the making, so it's something they look forward to doing each week. So they've got new friends, and some of which actually we've spoken to. Initially, when I asked them, who do you know around here, what do you do? Nobody.
It isn't all about making pom-poms. As I say, the games are very much involved. They don't have to play games, they don't have to do anything. They can just sit there, have a cup of tea.
About meeting new people into the Rainbow Community Centre. They were very friendly and making pom-pom, chatting up and all that. It'd be great.
What I get out of attending the centre is confidence building, making new friends. And for me, because obviously I'd just not long moved to the area, finding out about a project where I could then start making new friends and sit and chat and, you know, kind of get to know people like close to where I lived was really good for me, because then if I saw them out in the community after meeting them at the project, it was easier to then go and say hello to them if I saw them in the high street or if I saw them when I was out and about. So it really did help with confidence, and it definitely made you feel good making a pom-pom and going along.
Well, for me personally, it gave me something to do. So I was floundering a little bit myself. I'd recently lost my wife.
I lost my mum and dad 2012. Mum and dad died 7 months between them. My dad died in February and my mum died in November, 7 months then. So I live on my own now. I'm getting well with David Shona and the team of Just Straight Talk. Been good.
Pom-poms give out a message in the community. I think really for me it's kind of kindness, and it's about making sure that people are not lonely and that they've got someone they can talk to if they need to. We see the pom-pom as a hug, if it's what you want to call it, because it's round, and when we hold on to it, it reminds us of being in the community centre when we was there at Rainbows, and when you guys put the kettle on and you make us a coffee, or you put some toast on, or we sit and have a chat and something to eat, and we all just get together over making a pom-pom. So we like to call them a hug in our house, and it kind of brings that feeling of, you know, like feeling it and squishing it. I've got 2 children with learning needs, so they love playing with them and throwing them, catching them, and it's just so wonderful that a form of art can bring people together, and it can be something that we can share, and then you can talk about it. And like when you first showed me how to make one, it was amazing that I'd never knew how to make one until you'd shown me, and it was just, it really does make a huge difference.
Hello, I'm Julie and I'm from Broadway Halls Care Home in Dudley. One day we were taking our residents over the local park and we come across the pom-poms, and after reading them we thought what a fantastic idea it was. We went back to our care home and was discussing it with our residents, who thought how lovely it would be to actually get involved with something like this.
Do you think your residents enjoy coming down to the Rainbow Centre?
Definitely. They're eager, they're ready and waiting by the time we come in the morning. So yeah, they love going there.
Do you think that this reduces the sense of loneliness and isolation with your residents?
It's made them see that just because we can't see people are lonely, that there is a lot of loneliness and isolation out there.
And the symbol of the pom-pom, what does the pom-pom mean to you?
The pom-pom to me means getting awareness out there that there is loneliness and isolation, and that by each person it reaches, it gives them the thought in their mind that somebody may be going through that and that maybe they could help them.
Yesterday we had one turn up in New York on the John Lennon symbol of Imagine. Now just imagine what we can do in a small place like Cosley and beyond if we can make the pom-pom the symbol for loneliness.
That's what the centre was really all about, is to get people out of the house and mixing with other people.
The project was brilliant. We got more people coming in, making a cup of tea, a coffee, having a chat, playing a bit of music, and been doing a bit of garden. It's been good.
You've just changed so many lives from something, you know, that's so beautiful when it's made and that we can share it with our friends and family. I mean, I had a lady that lost her mum, and I held it in the window of her car and she was crying, and I didn't know she'd lost her mum. And I said, I'm not selling anything, I've just got something I would like to give to you. And if you need anybody, there's a number on the card. And it just gave her that moment to stop from getting upset and crying, and made her think someone cares about me because I've just lost someone. So the project has such a huge impact on people, and I share it still today. I make big ones, little ones, small ones. My kids love it. My little boy, his confidence has changed. My daughter's confidence changed, and it's helped the whole family.
Hello, my name's Thomas Buckley. I am part of Whitley Big Local. I've been on the committee for several years, and Whitley Big Local is responsible for drawing down and spending National Lottery funding on improving the outlook and legacy of Whitley. Here we are taking the first trail through the woods at the top. I'm going to take you for a little walk around the area, just to give you a little bit of an outline of what the local woods looks like and what it probably does need for development. There's a lovely little path here, heavily used by local dog walkers. Good examples of some nice open space here. This is technically, it's not forest, it's still protected part of the woodland, but it's ripe for planting some fruit and edible shrubs, fruit trees and edible shrubs. You can already see there's wonderful examples of fruit and things. Lots of people have been picking blackberries here for generations. This stuff is absolutely phenomenal. Several years ago we decided that nutrition, healthy eating, healthy living had to be top priority, because there was just simply, the numbers showed us via the NHS data itself, showed us that there was a huge disproportionate number of people in this north of the city that were suffering from mental health, from industrial work related issues and so on.
So one of the things that was really telling before I applied for my post is when they did the happiness survey, so people may not be aware that there was a national happiness survey, but in Plymouth, Whitley was the saddest community. So one of my biggest things that when I came back to my interview, and it's probably been a driving force for me personally, is to turn that into being one of the happiest communities.
Here we are. Gorgeous views through the trees at the other estate. It's called Southway. Rather old buildings. We need to really get our heads together and start, even in the short term with Brexit and lots of issues about food supplies and healthy fresh produce being stacked up in Dover for more than 48 hours, which means that most of those nutrients will have disappeared from those fresh vegetables and it will be subpar. So I've suggested over the last several years to the committee that I'm part of and to the wider local partners that we start progressively building spaces that will counter this food security issue, and I'm delighted to see that this is happening.
And I just think there's a bit of a change of atmosphere in the community in terms of really wanting to make sure that people see Whitley as a positive place to live and not a negative place to live, which is fantastic.
Myself and our partners developed and planted a edible orchard. This is a wonderful piece of land, the hidden orchard, wonderful piece of land. And we've decided to plant several trees there, get some fruits and just see what happens. And this has led us to springboard from the orchard space to a much more defined idea of progressive gardening, progressive food production, you know, where it's almost seen as a much scaled up allotment, where it's more of a communal farm and people will pick and clean and be responsible for their own produce.
I think probably the idea would be is that we don't make it a negative, we make it a positive. So instead of sort of eradicating food poverty, we might call it Eat Well Whitley. So that'd be quite nice.
Make Britain healthy again, I think that's a good one. This is going to make a huge difference to people's lives. You know, it's going to cost a hell of a lot less money. It's going to be a huge impact with the local GP service, who's going to see reduced numbers of people going in. That's hopefully. We had to do some serious food safety, hygiene stuff going on, but the point is that recognition within the doctor's surgery that we have got a huge problem in this area and we need to tackle it.
What was your experience or your family's experience during lockdown? What was it like for you living around here?
Well, living around here, it was kind of stressful because when lockdown first happened, all like the supermarkets and stuff were going out of stock very fast. So it was hard to find shopping, food, tissue, all of that stuff, and even hand sanitizer was the big issue. So it was kind of a bit stressful, but at the same time I was kind of happy because I didn't have to go to school.
What was it like during the summertime after the lockdown lifted and you were able to get out and about? How was your summer holidays?
Well, it was very fun because in the Wickers we had lots of activities you could go to, like go-karting, because like I came second place and I was like winning, and like when we would go to the park and Mabley and play like different sports and stuff like that to like get us like, working and stuff.
What was it like for you and your family?
It was alright, to be honest. I just had like a lot of schoolwork to do. I mean, I did it only like a month, and then after the rest of the months I was free, and we got food and supplies, but apart from that it was alright.
Were you worried about your neighbours, or have you got grandparents around, or older people that you're worried about?
Well, with my neighbours, one of them got corona, so like we had to take them to the hospital. But apart from that, it was all alright, to be honest. No one else got sick, and yeah.
And can you tell me what it's been like to go back into school since you've been back in September? How have things changed? How have you found it?
It's just different because like in the classes that I usually go to, I have to move to a different class now, and like sometimes I'm not used to like the classrooms, and like with the lunch times it's different as well because we don't get the usual food we get because of like safety and all of that stuff, and our head teacher's really strict about it.
And what do you think about the future? Can you see, we had an important announcement yesterday by the government about the future restrictions on moving around. Does that concern you, what we're going through for the next 6 months?
Not really, because like I already know that I'm safe and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
What was your experience of lockdown this summer?
I was worried about my family getting sick because there was a lot of funerals throughout lockdown where my mum went, but it was fine.
So what have you been doing with the Wickers Youth Club?
We've been going like trips, like we've been going to the fun fair or swimming or to the parks or have a picnic.
And has that been during the summer holidays?
Mm-hmm.
And what difference has that made to you?
It was a big difference because I didn't get to, like when it was lockdown, I didn't get to go out so much.
So you're going back to year 6, it's your last year at Gainsborough School, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
How's it changed for you since you've gone back?
You have to wear masks in classes, and like the whole building has changed, and you have to sit in separate tables with only 2 people on it.
How was it for you during the lockdown period?
It was good, but my sleep pattern changed, and I was worried. My family was worried because of the coronavirus, and we just didn't have any school, so we lost a bit of knowledge when we went to school.
Were you worried about your friends or your family or the community at all?
I was worried because it seemed to be getting higher every single day, and I didn't know if my friends had it or my family. We didn't really know about who had coronavirus.
What has it been like since you've been back at school? How have you found it?
It's been a bit hard because we've lost a lot of knowledge and we don't really remember stuff. And now there's lines on the floor and everyone's just apart. Like year groups are in different parts of the playground and it's all different. We can't even eat in the canteen anymore. It's changed a lot.
COVID, and suddenly it had reached England and things were really happening. And on the 19th of March, I've written in a diary, schools are closing except for children of key workers. Tube stations are shutting, London is shutting down, theatres and cinemas are all closed. On the 20th, pubs and restaurants closing from tonight.
Well, community staff have been running a Friday lunch club for our older residents for about a year and a half now. When COVID hit, we came up with the idea of making soup and delivering it to them in their houses. At the same time, we'd had some awards for all money, so we arranged to use some of that money for once a week to take activity packs out to the older people as well.
The top priority is to keep them safe and keep me safe as well. It's also important to me to make time for a little chat with them all as well, because sometimes I might be the only person that person sees all day. So we always have a little chat, our safe distance, make sure they're all okay. I ask them always if they want anything, or is there anything I can do for them that I can take back the next day, and just to keep an eye on them and just make sure they're all right.
Well, it's VE day at the hub. I'm in early as usual to disinfect the area. Here's some of yesterday's returns, all delivered nice and safely. And this is stuff for today. So today we're going to be giving out some chocolate lambs, chocolate ducks. What have we got in here? Oh yeah, chocolate chickens with chocolate eggs, all donated to us by the food bank. And here are compostable pots that we're putting our soup in, that we're getting through by the thousands now. Okay, so this is a bit later on, after the chaos is restored to order. There's Sue sitting at her desk, getting ready on VE Day, working on a bank holiday, aren't you, Sue? Okay.
Excuse me, I came here waiting to see Mary Berry sort of icing these cakes.
Yeah, okay, well, she's going to happen after the videoing. There are the cakes, all beautiful, all waiting to be iced. There's Rachel chopping the chives for the potato salad. See, you'll be impressed how much it's been cleared up since I did the video this morning. This is Ray. Come on, Ray. Little way from Ray. He's doing the lentil soup there. And this is Jackie, our resident social worker today. Chopping up potatoes. Girl, she's desperate for social interaction. Chopping up potatoes on a bank holiday. And this is Tracy.
Good morning.
There, yes, thank you very much. Also chopping up potatoes. And lastly, Paul, on his last day here today, he's also... Hello, Mum. It's been a breeze.
It does.
There's more to it than soup. What in your mind is the greatest achievement of this soup and support project?
I think it's reaching out to the people in the community. I mean, we've been supporting Matthew 25 mission as well, haven't we, with the soup production every day, which reaches other people, but actually into people's homes, with people that very often, as we know from the questionnaires that come back, don't have anybody to do anything for them. No shopping, they don't have any family members close by. It's that outreach, I think.
I know it's been greatly appreciated. I know when I just did that little bit of delivering, how much it was appreciated by the elderly people that we were delivering to.
Some of them are very fragile.
And just, you know, being able to have a little chat with them. And
yes, definitely.
Just a point of contact for them.
I wonder how this is their first Monday with no soup today. I hope they're all going to be all right.
I hope so, because I think they're going to miss the service and the
yes.
very, very much.
it should be the duty of every human being during this pandemic and during their lifetime to look out for your fellow human being. And one way you can do that is by volunteering.
Our Soup and Support project, how has that helped people in Riverbourne House through these difficult times?
Well, I think it was God sent. You know, it was so good, so great to know that people outside cared, you know, and were supplying, coming in and actually bringing it to our doorsteps, you know, which was fantastic, you know, and it was so helpful. It contained all the five a day.
Yes, that's right.
It was very healthy.
Yes.
And helpful too, you know, because a lot of people in Riverbourne don't cook.
How long did you have the soup delivered to you? Was it for most of lockdown?
Most of lockdown.
It was most of lockdown, I think. So how did you find the soup?
I like soup.
You like soup? That's the very right answer to say, Jack.
I'm a connoisseur of soup.
Are you? So, of the soups that we cooked and delivered to you, what was your favourite?
Every one.
No, you liked all of them. Well, they were all tasty. Sue was our official taster every day to make sure that it was up to standard, and they all passed. Generally, the soups were very high standard, weren't they?
Very good, very tasty.
So, do you miss having the soup delivered to your house now? Now it's all finished. Are you just happy that restrictions have eased?
Yeah, I do miss them. Yeah.
So, do you miss the delicious food, or you miss the knock on your door, or both?
Both.
Yeah. Yes. But lots of people have said exactly the same thing, that it was nice to have that contact with somebody every day of the week.
That's it.
Yeah. And to know that people were keeping an eye on you, and if there was a problem, there was somebody that you could ask. Well, hopefully we won't have to lock down again, but if we do, I presume that Sue and I will start making soup again. But we'd rather do the lunch clubs and have you here under happier circumstances, really.
Hi, my name is Wakas, and I'm a director of Bradley Big Local Community Land Trust, which is a group of residents and stakeholders that have come together for the betterment of the Bradley area, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about our latest project called Bradley Food to Go. The COVID-19 pandemic and the introduction of shielding, social isolating and social distancing in March 2019 was felt across the Bradley community. Bradley Big Local Partnership and the Community Land Trust wanted to do something to support those who couldn't get out and about, who were vulnerable or really financially impacted by this. We also wanted to say thank you to those key workers who live and work in the Bradley area. Here we have Rafida, who is contacting the person or key worker to confirm some personal details and ask about any food allergies. We also ask if there's anything else that they may need help with, and will signpost them to our partnership agencies. On a Wednesday at 12 o'clock, we have our final list for all our deliveries going out on the following Friday. We already have a rota of businesses we have used and will be using each week. In this video, we've used Chief's Health Kitchen. looked around at what was already available, and also that there are quite a lot of takeaway businesses and cafes in Bradley that had to close. We agreed that it would be good for both residents and businesses if we could buy takeaway meals every Friday night and deliver them ourselves to homes and key workplaces.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
With grant funding from the Brig Local, our Bradley Food to Go project was born, and the first meals were delivered on 1st May. Information leaflets were distributed to all the places we thought people could go to for help and advice, including the council's community hub, food banks, supermarkets and various other agencies. We also set up a dedicated Facebook page and email address for people to refer themselves to us.
Our task was to connect people with others that live in Coseley, to socialise them, create groups for them and stop them from feeling lonely. Success as our community formed through our pom-pom phenomenon. But then, without warning, a pandemic strikes just as we gain momentum. Doors shut, shutters down, stay in your homes for now, they said. Don't hug, don't visit, don't sing, don't mix with the others, they said. Our community was in danger of days with no contact, hours all alone. So we brightened days with doorstep deliveries or chats over the phone. Soon our virtual sessions had the regulars return week by week. New members joined, new sessions began. We even had a chance to meet. And now we grow from strength to strength as our community expands. The good work of our pom-poms made easier with many hands. It's been a task for all. We see that now, but the strength of our community shows. And for the love of pom-poms and the desire to connect,
there will be rainbows permanently. No distance between us, my face you will see.
Working in a care home, loneliness has been quite a big thing since the pandemic struck, because obviously the home's been shut from the outside world.
People pass away and you don't have many friends and you're just sitting in here, nobody don't have anything to do with it. It's awful, loneliness. I mean, I've been through that, things in here, you know, really bad loneliness. So what I do when I'm lonely, I go out and have a walk around. It breaks it up, because nobody knows in here how depressed you get. I mean, loneliness in here gets really, really depressing.
When I was first widowed 4.5 years ago, as I said, the children all rallied round me. I've got children everywhere, in the garden playing, in the house with all their toys. The toy box would be tipped up and there'd be toys everywhere. And I'd always got lots of company with the family. But when lockdown came, I wasn't allowed to see them.
When Barry was diagnosed with Alzheimer's during lockdown, I found that it was quite a difficult time for me because Barry doesn't really speak. And although I speak to my son and daughter-in-law on a very regular basis, it's not the same as having somebody with you to actually communicate with. Because if you're lonely, you can sit alone in your house and you can be even more lonely. So I went down the route of doing something about it.
And obviously everything face-to-face had to end. For months there was no visiting. The only contact was via phone or Skype calls, which has been a lifeline really, but also not the same. But we're lucky that we've got visiting pods where families can now come in to see the relatives. which has been fantastic and has proved to be really good for mental health as well.
And Sharona has got me a friend named Mark, and Billy spoils him. I phone him up and he comes, we go walk around and I play me music to him and we have a laugh and a joke. And to have a friend, it's been absolutely fantastic.
But as soon as the pandemic hit, everything switched to virtual, so we could still attend your coffee mornings via Zoom, and we would recreate it in the home. So we'd have them sat around a table and they would be making the pom-poms, drilling your quizzes, everything we'd do at the coffee morning, just not in your location. So that was really good.
And I've enjoyed Zoom. Thursday is our coffee morning and we do a quiz.
Fiona, you know what I've always wanted, don't you? Painting live models.
Tony's our
sitting on the chair.
I nominate Dave.
They bought me a tablet and it was very new to me by meeting people to talk to on the screen. It was very nice for me to meet people.
And if when we tell them they don't believe, does that mean it's over? We can all leave.
But we did go on walks around Jubilee Park, which it was lovely in the summer. But we did get soaked the last time we went.
we used to meet up on a Wednesday, 6 of we, and we used to go and walk around the parks. And I quite enjoyed it, mixing with people, talking to people, having a laugh, having a joke. I really enjoyed it, meeting people. It was a new sensation for me, and we used to have a laugh.
The fact that we were actually doing the Wednesday morning walk on the Jubilee Park and doing a distribution of pom-poms, and because it's a local area, this was really good for Barry, because although he doesn't talk very much, the ladies and some of the men as well used to talk to him about the park and bring back his childhood memories. It was sort of organised that we would do outside, socially distanced groups of lunchtime gatherings at the Jack Newell Centre.
Well, the mockingbird are gonna sail away. We're gonna forget it. We're gonna shine out the school. We're gonna let it.
And Barry was totally immersed in it. It's one of the last bastions, actually, for Barry to be able to play, being part of this community project has really helped me make friends, has helped me to come out of myself a bit. I feel exhilarated and I look forward to doing all the things that we do. And my goodness me, we've done quite a few things like that.
The best part I think I've really enjoyed is what we've just done, and that's the collage. And we did it in about 2 weeks, I think, from it being suggested. And we all rallied round and did something.
Such a wonderful collage, isn't it? It is community expanded to such an extent, and so many people have absolutely loved it. It's such an explosion of colours that it really takes your breath away. And I look at it and I think, I'm so proud to have been part of it. It's true community, isn't it?
Since Shauna and Dave have come, they've been wonders for me. They've got me marked. They've helped me out on a Christmas. We've had our own little get-together with parks and things.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Bringing everybody together.
It's not really about pom-poms, it's about people and socialising with people, which is what we're being told all the time, isn't it? Don't lose the contact with people, because that is probably one of the most important things that you need as a human, contact with other people.
So Shona and Dave, from myself and everyone at Broadway Halls, we just want to say, please keep up the good work, because what you are doing is truly amazing and you are making a difference in this world. We are proud to be able to support you in this, and we look forward to working together on many more projects in the future.
There will be freedom.
The story is different with each relationship made. Each need is unique with each journey we take. We have lost friends already, which is sad, although us being in their lives has made a difference, we know. For some, their last wishes were all we could give, but giving them this, we enabled them to live, knowing they had completed their final chapter, leaving a legacy to be enjoyed time after.
Weymouth simply is at the heart of many people's memories. Known for its beautiful beaches, Weymouth is located on the southwest coast of England and is the third largest settlement in Dorset after Poole and Bournemouth. One area that has seen large growth in recent times is Littlemore. Found just off the main road leading in and out of Weymouth, the scenery makes the idea of living the dream a reality. However, a busy shopping centre may be, but in recent times a busy food bank too. Lockdowns have made parents worried about their children's education and prospects too, with the impact of continuous lockdowns being felt now and the after effects for some might not become apparent for a long time. Couple this with the stigma of some people who see Littlemore as somewhere no one wants to live, then isolation and feeling inferior to others starts to become apparent. Historically, Littlemore was a small village consisting of farmland. During the First World War, it was an area that was home to the Australian soldiers as a base camp. Lovely normal soldiers based in the background. I'm just going to show you in there. This historical feature still holds legacy today, with many of the streets named after Australian cities.
So originally Littlemore was a number of farms, and it was for a number of years. There was an Australian Army base here during the First World War. Then continued in the interwar period is a couple of farms all congregated close together. In the 1950s, the Weymouth Council then began a council house building around here, which is where you get your Littlemore Road, your Culliford Way, your Canberra Road. 1964 we got the community centre, which was fundraised by a number of residents. 1986 we got our church, which was originally at the community centre.
So Littlemore was a 1970s council estate, and from there it grew to be part of Weymouth. Then we had quite a bit of trouble on the estate to start with.
So I moved into the house on Louviers Road in 78, it had just been built. I was a few months old, so I've lived here all my life. I had a few years away and then I came back to the house that I was brought up in.
The area first saw housing developments during the 1950s and 60s, with the streets of Bayard Road, Culliford Way and Canberra Road being the initial streets known. The countryside was even more open and vivid than it appears now. My childhood memories of growing up on Littlemore were rather mixed. My brother and I had so much fun playing and interacting with our friends from a young age, playing football, attending classes such as judo at the school, and having that feeling of community, which included everyone from the teachers at the school all the way to the local bus drivers who would pick you up. As a teenager growing up on Littlemore, who attended a secondary school on the opposite side of town, I found the mixing and interacting with children and adults from other suburbs of Weymouth difficult. I would remember the verbal calling, which included scab, scav, and all sorts of other names that you cannot say on camera, but also the looks you were given when getting on the school bus in between the villages of Preston and Upwey. As an older teenager, I was always a little nervous of saying to people where I grew up due to the ongoing worry of being branded as a thug or undesirable. I remember registering my interest for a part-time job while I was at college, and after saying where I lived, I never heard anything back. Not everyone from the area feels or has been made to feel inferior to people from other areas, which says a lot about the character of people from Littlemore. However, informal or formal naming of all the new housing developments that have appeared down the years on Littlemore that are named differently to the area have only fueled the idea of name avoidance. Though there has been barriers to overcome through time, the local people have always been proud of the area they live in. Local help and support have always been at the centre of people's minds to engage with their community. With all the problems of the last 2 years, the development of the younger generation has been identified as a priority by lots of people. The Top Club have been leading the way on this, securing funding to improve and increase their reach to local youngsters, with lots of hard work going on behind the scenes from local volunteers.
I think that the things that are going on at the Top Club at the moment, for example, trying to get the youth club reopen again, trying to get the kids off the street, it's still this same old cliche, isn't it? We need to get the kids off the street and to be doing something. I mean, look at it, the fields haven't changed hardly at all from living across the road, and we used to spend all our time in the fields. You know, when I was growing up, we had an amazing youth club. We used to go to youth club every night of the week. There were so many different things to do within our youth club. We didn't seem to be wandering around the estate just as much as the kids seem to be wandering around now. They don't seem to have an awful lot to do, whereas we always had something to do. And I think that because we didn't have the whole social media and games consoles and that sort of thing, we were more free.
People in the area have continued to be inspired and show what can be achieved. Local resident Anne Weaving was recently proud to be announced as the upcoming mayor for the town of Weymouth and Portland.
Yay! Well done. Well, I've been here now for 15 years. Prior to that, I was 10 years in Preston. But my grandson, who I brought up, I insisted he came to school here. Rather than go to the school with all the other people from Preston. So I wanted him to be more down to earth. Oh, it's vastly improved. There used to be people who loved dumping old bits of furniture, washing machines or God knows what outside their garden, and no, it's changed. Still the same people, and they're the salt of the earth. They'll do anything for you. I love my residents, I really do. I'm looking forward to my club opening again because I love helping. I've always been very active with the youth club. I just love all the children, and I walk through the estate, and they go, "Oh, hello, Nanny Ann," because I'm everybody's nanny. No, I love it. It's like a big family. And of course, I've been made deputy mayor this year, and next year I will be the mayor. Wow! What can I say? Very first one in history to come from Littlemore, and I'm so proud.
With increased availability of activities for families and youngsters to engage with, there has already been a shift in how the area is seen. Tim Davis, who oversees the running of one of the largest youth football club setups in Dorset, has seen the potential in the area. This has resulted in them relocating a lot of their activities to the area.
What I want to try and do is get more adults on the estate or more adults in this area involved so that they can actually work with the kids and be positive role models for them, rather than me just having to do it all. And once we do that, you can really start removing a lot of the barriers, because the perception from the rest of Weymouth coming over here was, like at the start when I started doing the sessions, well, we don't want to go anywhere near the place. In their heads they think it's a rough area, they don't want the kids going anywhere near the place, and what we're having to try to do is break that completely down. It's getting better. It was really poor at the start. You'd have kids come up here and sit around and watch the sessions but not get involved. But now, especially the younger age groups, you're getting kids now walking up off the estate on the Saturdays, Sundays, Monday sessions, and they're getting involved.
It is an exciting time to be involved with the community on Littlemore, whether you reside in the area or in other parts of Weymouth. With the additional professional support being provided by Big for Littlemore, Helping Hands, Top Club and their partners, residents can feel assured of a brighter future.
We've now started to grow into a more private stroke council estate, which has improved the area, and because we live in a green area and a green space.
Community, neighbourhood, and well, pretty. You know, it's a pretty place to live.
And as long as the majority of us are working as a community, I think that's really important. You're always going to have that group of kids or young adults that cause a bit of trouble, cause some hassles, but all in all, it's a fantastic place to live. I love it here. Wouldn't go anywhere else.
With the support of an ever-expanding partner list and the help of local volunteers, it really can help the community to live their dreams.
For a while, we had been talking as a group of some sort of art trail that would connect our three neighbourhoods, because we have two large neighbourhoods, which is Harefield and Townhill Park, which are separated by a main road, and we have a smaller neighbourhood called Middenbury, and we were always talking about how we could connect them and get people from Harefield to walk down to Townhill Park and vice versa. And then in the summer of 2018, we had a art project going on in Kingsdown Way, which is in Townhill Park, and we had commissioned Will Rosie to engage with the local families and children during the summer holidays to paint these wooden bollards. One particular afternoon, the session had finished and it was just me, Barbara Hancock and Will Rosie, and we were chatting. And again, this conversation about the art trail came up. And Barbara happened to mention that the People's Health Trust had opened up Southampton as an area for that could apply for grant money. And Will has said, well, we could do mosaics because he's the mosaic man. And as soon as we said that, it was such a moment that we had, that's it, that is exactly how what we should do. It's such a brilliant idea that we should apply, and that's what we decided there and then to do.
The first mosaic I made was the rabbit, and that was good. I felt really good of doing that. The best thing about it, which I didn't realise it would happen, is it's on one of the walls down the bottom of Harefield, opposite the shops, One Stop Shop, and it's up there now, which is quite an achievable moment.
The first mosaic I made was a big bee. I chose the bee because I'm really into eco-friendliness, and I think bees are so important, and I just wanted to do something that I related to.
The best bit of it is interacting with people while doing the mosaics, and you feel part of a team, and you do things to make Harefield more noticeable, and Townhill Park as well.
I was shielding, so I couldn't go out, so we had some mosaic ways for home. So I was doing that, so that helped with mental health as well.
We did a big mosaic, it was all cut into squares, and we all did a couple of squares each of the SO18 area, the main road to it. That was a lot of fun.
I feel happy when I go out looking for mosaics. And you think back about the times you had fun making them, the frustration you have as well, cutting the tiles up, getting them at the right shape you wanted, which is difficult for me, but I got through it.
When I see the mosaics in the area, I feel really proud, really happy to have done something for the environment, for the neighbourhood, and hopefully something that will be there for a long, long time, so that my great-children, great-grandchildren and theirs and that can see and said, oh look, great nanny did that.
It's improved the neighbourhood, I think, dramatically, because people and children are wanting to go out and look for more mosaics. When they see one, they see another, and they want to find out, hopefully, that there is more around. And if they look on the website or Facebook page, they'll find out more to go and see, go and find. And you know, kids, they like to go and find stuff.
I think the best thing for me personally was that I was one of the originators that came up with the idea, and I just happened to be involved in that conversation. There's so many other things, like that it is just so local to us, that it has been made by us.
The Mosaic Way has made the neighbourhood more colourful. It's given interest.
I think what we've learned from this project is that you should persevere in what you feel is a good idea, that you have a really good feeling for. And we always thought that the idea of the Mosaic Way was a absolutely brilliantly inspired idea. And it's fabulous to realise that, yes, it is all that we hoped it would be, and even more. So what we've learned is to go with that feeling and not be frightened of trying to see whether you can do it.
I've used the opportunity, and I think that life throws at us lots and lots of opportunities, and it's important to take every opportunity that there is so that we can go on and develop, and therefore make more opportunities for ourselves.
Well, I think the Mosaic Way has, for those who are aware of the Mosaic Way, that there is a sense of actual pride that, and I don't think pride is too strong a word either, actually, that it has happened in our own neighbourhoods, that it is of the community, made by the community. And I think that it's a lovely addition to getting people out and walking about, even if they're walking down to the shops or taking their kids to school or back again, or even walking to the dentist or whatever you're doing, to come across one of the mosaic tiles and to spot it and have that very quick moment of joy of spotting yet another one.
There's no such thing as you can't. You can do it.
It was our idea and we made it happen.
Hello, my name's Amanda Caldwell and I'm the current chair of Rastrick Big Local. I'm also a resident of Rastrick. I've lived here for 20 years and my children have been to school in Rastrick. It's possibly better known as being the sibling town of Brighouse, which was famous for the Brighouse and Rastrick Brass Band, which once got a number 2 into the charts for 6 weeks with Terry Wogan's Floral Dance. The Rastrick Big Local area has natural borders of the river, a nature reserve at Cromwell Bottom, and the M62 motorway. Looking at the map of the area, you can see there is plenty of green space. However, the Cromwell Bottom Nature Reserve is relatively inaccessible to the quite populated estate of Field Lane, which we will see later in this film. As a result of this, you will see that some of the work that Rastrick Big Local has done so far has been around green spaces, improving parks, building community borders and opening up a community centre at the heart of the Field Lane estate. So let's go and have a look at some of the projects that Rastrick Big Local has completed, and on the way we'll call in at the lunch club at the Space, the new community centre in Rastrick. Just as the centre was getting on its feet and opening up its doors to new community classes, including singing, French lessons, bridge, dog training, the sad news came from Boris Johnson that the doors would have to close for some considerable time.
I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
During the pandemic, we supported our residents as much as possible with weekly phone calls and Zoom quizzes for those that wanted to take part. However, we were so excited to reopen the doors for our lunch club and welcome our residents back in for a tasty, nutritious meal each week. Lunch Club on a Friday offers residents the chance to get together and have a home-cooked meal, play bingo, take part in a quiz and just generally socialise with each other in a safe environment. It also offers opportunities for people to volunteer, be that in the kitchen, waitressing, taking the money or hosting the bingo sessions. Let's hear from one of our youngest volunteers.
Hi, I'm Trevor Carroll. I'm 15 and I live on the Field Lane estate. And me being a volunteer up here has brought me out the house away from my big family, so I can meet new friends, meet the volunteers like Amanda herself, and have a good laugh. And it gets me out of the house and something to do when I'm bored in the 6 weeks of my holidays.
Hello, my name's Paul Collins. I'm 53 years old. I've lived on this estate for about 10 years. I work as a waiter down in the community centre called Space. What Space has done for me is brought out my confidence, met new people, just have a good laugh.
I've been coming here now probably going on for 12 months and it's extremely welcoming place. Everybody in here, all the staff members and all the volunteers, they're all very willing people and they're very sociable, and it's just a really nice place to come. You know, and I'm 83 and I make the effort to come here twice a week, so it's good for me. It gives me a lift, and I brought a friend with me, or 2 or 3 friends on different occasions. They all love it here. They all fight over who's going to come in my car.
I moved to the area nearly 2 years since, didn't know a soul, came here, met quite a few friends and I've enjoyed it and I've carried on coming. I come to the sewing group and for lunch.
My name's Mary. I've lived on Field Lane Estate since 1996. Also, I've been involved on the estate with different groups. Tea and coffee ladies for Rastrick Big Local. We came here from when they first opened, and a lot of people have been here. Enjoyed it. Come on a Wednesday and a Friday for lunch to meet people, do the quiz on a Friday, play bingo. End of.
So I'm Neil Merrifield. I'm a resident of Field Lane Estate. I have been for around 15 years. I was born here originally, and I grew up here, then moved away and came back. So before the pandemic happened, Peter Edwards and I were having a discussion. We thought that I was looking a bit scruffy down round Field Lane, and we wondered if during the pandemic, because people were putting all sorts of things out, you know, tables and chairs, three-piece suites and all this, that and the other, and it were piling up in people's gardens. Nobody were coming to pick it up. There were no council services available over the pandemic, and it were getting a bit scruffy. So we decided to put in for some big local money. We actually thought at first it might take about 10 skips, but by the time we finished we were on 30, and they were all piled up high. A lot of the time I had to attend every single skip. A lot of the times I had to empty them out and refill them, and it really did become, it wasn't a bind, but it was most certainly a responsibility. And it were absolutely great, to be quite honest. The people I met, the things that they were saying to me, what they wanted on the estate. A lot more people became aware of Big Local and what it was all about. And to be quite honest, the scheme was very successful. I mean, as I walk around Field Lane Estate now, there are no big piles of you know, all this household stuff or anything like that. They all got put in the skip, which is absolutely great. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and with Peter Edwards' support and the support of the Big Local partnership, it was a thoroughly great experience.
Hi, my name is Danny Leach. I work with Rastrick Big Local. I'm actually the community engagement stroke co-production worker. So most of my time is spent with prospective candidates and prospective projects. So I'm partially responsible for bringing in new funding and actually working with people to contract their bids and to actually complete bids for funding applications for Rastrick Big Local. So that's the engagement within the community. Co-production is about working with partners and engaging with other potential business partners and projects that might assist Rastrick Big Local to deliver on its aims. And one of those most important features is actually community engagement. So we need to bring people into the hub, but we also need to look at the consultation process. So working with people from the community to find out what they actually want. It's a very flexible process. We've got some successful bids recently. We've developed a walk-in project. So on the back of kind of unlocking from COVID, we know from social prescribers, actually, you know, general conversations from people we have in the community, that a lot of people have got difficulties around isolation, getting back out into the community, doing new things, and kind of unlocking all that 16 months worth of, you know, being alone really and being isolated. So there's a certain hangover from that, and as RBL we've kind of recognised that mental health, potentially unemployment, and the huge issue of people just becoming back into society is really important. The walking project was from City Connects, which was actually a bid around either walking or cycling projects. What we actually found is the Cromwell Bottom Nature Reserve, which I think you'll see probably later on in this film, they have specialist people. Their volunteers are trained to do things like newt collecting and bat walks and various nature and pond dipping. So they work a lot with schools, but they're actually bringing the community into the centre, into the nature reserve. And that's worked for both us as RBL, delivering on one of our projects, but also works for Cromwell Bottom really well as well for increasing their footfall.
Now we're off to have a look at the community border and the fruit trees that have been planted as a result of Rastrick Big Local's funds. It's time to walk off that delicious lunch. When the cycle track was installed in the local park, funded by Rastrick Big Local, we approached the council to see if we could put a community border in the side using the surplus soil. This border, including donations from local residents and fruit trees funded by Rastrick Big Local, provides an opportunity for locals to volunteer and for children to pick fruit. Moving on from the park, down the hill brings us to Rastrick Library, which has recently benefited from a new access ramp, mostly funded by Rastrick Big Local.
Hello, I'm John Shepherd. I'm standing here in front of our library in Rastrick, and I'm the treasurer of the Friends of Rastrick Library. This building, as I say, was opened in 1912. There is a war memorial outside, which was added later, of course, after the First World War, which was also given by somebody. And the library has gone from strength to strength since then. Since 1974, it's been one of the responsibilities of Calderdale, the council of this area. we became aware that it was very difficult for some people to get into the library. There are steps up to the front door. People who had children in prams found it difficult, again, unless they were carried up and down, and library staff were very good at doing that, although I'm sure it wasn't part of their job. But not only that, people who generally get older and find their limbs aren't working as well as they used to were having difficulty getting up and down the steps. We were very pleased when Rastrick Big Local said they might be able to help us. And they said they could give us the money, which wasn't quite going to cover the whole thing, but it was going a long way towards it. And with that in mind, the council said, well, all right, they could meet the surplus and make it up, which meant that in terms of what actually happened, Rastrick Big Local gave the money to the Friends, and the Friends just transferred it over to the council. And it went ahead.
My name's Irene. I'm the chair of Friends of Rastrick Library. I did used to work here up till the end of 2018. Originally, you know, the people of Rastrick wanted a library. The people of Rastrick wanted better access to the library. So we were very pleased that the people of Rastrick actually voted for it.
After making this film, we learned that the library had received a local civic trust award, which we were pleased to receive and hand over the plaque for the opening of the ramp. Looking to the future, there's much to be excited about for the residents of Rastrick as the community slowly but surely emerges from the COVID-19 pandemic. With nearly half of the Rastrick Big Local funds still available to invest in the area and a proven record of being able to attract further funding from other sources, we're excited to be exploring the options of renewable energy, further community spaces, developing links with the Cromwell Bottom Nature Reserve and any other exciting projects that are still on the horizon.
Well, it's been home to me since.
However, in looking to the future, it is always important to have a nod to the past, and I would like to dedicate this film to the life of Peter Edwards, who worked courageously and relentlessly in the Brighouse community and was a founder member of the Rastrick Big Local Partnership. He sadly passed away, and this film is in memory of him. You were well loved and well respected in the community, Peter.
I'm Rastrick born and raised. Hey, I'm Rastrick born and raised.
I came to Haringey 1999, something like that. 99. I still live at Gladstone Avenue, the best road in the whole of Haringey, Gladstone Avenue. This is where I live. That's where you live in Gladstone Avenue. I'm not plugging you, I'm just telling the lady the facts, right?
I'm Rochelle. I'm the chair of Knoll Park Big Local, and we're a resident-led initiative that where residents come together and work to help each other and to help our community and create an even better place for us all to live. The heart of our programs is to create opportunities for local people. So right now we're looking at our legacy. We've got 5 years left in our program, and we were given £1 million. We want to make sure that that money has a lasting impact in our community. So legacy, obviously, environment is an important part of legacy. Our green initiatives and also our historic built environment. But also, very importantly, the part about opportunities for local people we really take to heart. We want to create legacy for our community, and for us that means creating jobs. So Russell's Hub is another project that we're doing here in the park. We've leased a space here in the community building, and it's going to be a community hub which to bring together volunteers and also be a training program for people to learn to do things. We're going to get train them in hospitality, barista training, all types of things like that, and eventually it'll be a hub for the community to find information, another little touch point for Big Local. So we have a social enterprise forum which we started in partnership with Unlimited, and we've got about 38 people, local people who received Unlimited social entrepreneur grants, and many of those are still running and are going from getting bigger and bigger, and we plan, lockdown halted that a little bit but we're taking that up now and really working on that also to again create opportunities.
Hi, welcome to our official home of the Changing Gears project. Inside our hub here, we will have fitted out for lockers for tools to deliver our various projects, desk for our community development workers and other workers we have in the No Park project down here. And this is a very central place. It's fitted out with electricity, with lights, it's very secure, it's highly visible, which we deliberately done. We wanted something that was not just hidden away in the back of somewhere. And we could have just got a steel box, but we thought if we pay the extra, we make it an attractive, ecological thing. Outside here we'll have window boxes, planters, we'll do workshops in this area, not just about bike repairs, but also about how to make window boxes, how to do simple planting in your garden, how to grow things. We have a community garden behind us, a small one across there, done by our good colleague and partner Floyd. We have a cafe around the corner we're taking over, and we're also we have funding for putting a multi-sports use area in the park alongside new outdoor gym and equipment. Another good part of the jigsaw putting it together was utilising the local training organisations to actually deliver the project our youths are going to be trained in. So we do have an aspect of bicycle maintenance and repair, which has been delivered by a local organisation which itself is a charity, Bikes for Good Causes.
But we need to make sure that these gears are working. So we've got levers up here, obviously there's a box. These are for the back gears, these are for the front gears. So I'm going to pedal and then change gear. Oh, doing it by itself. There we go. Can you see, if you have a look there, Sappy, can you see that chain moving?
Oh yeah.
Oh, pretty good. Then we'll come down again. If you want to have a go, just pushing the lever. That's it. There you go. Yeah. There you go. That's all right. Right, so those are our back gears.
We do have a partner in the Kickstart scheme, which is a local contractor, well not a local contractor, it's quite a national contractor, who's doing major renovations on the estate over the next year. So during the second period of their training, they'll be working alongside tradespeople, doing things like easy carpentry, plumbing, window fitting and that, which again is great things you can put on a CV So when they go to apply for jobs in the future, they'll have a whole multitasks to put on the CV. So we think it's a big, big boost. It's a win-win situation.
It is a place for opportunity. It could be a very nice, like a little village in the middle of inner city. And often we still have that feeling. People are very neighbourly. Like, I know my neighbours, I've lived many places, different countries, cities, and I'd have to say this is the most neighbourly place I've ever lived. People get to know each other, you get to know your neighbours and you help each other out.
A project called Changing Gears, which a lot of people think it's just about bicycle repairs, because as soon as they hear the name gears, they think bicycles. But in actual fact, it's about changing gears in the local community. The community coming together, moving up into second and third gear as a community.
So ultimately, Big Local is neighbours helping neighbours. I think it's really nice. We're a very diverse community in every way that you can imagine being diverse, and Big Local can get everyone out together, getting to know each other, working together and just feeling part of a community.